Coming up in today's video, ladies and gentlemen, we're talking about a new WWE signing, and that one is going to be kind of controversial, but we got to talk about that. Plus, Triple H's replacement, special name backstage at AEW. Maybe there's more to that. And we got an update on the Tony Khan lawsuit. It's all coming up right here on the Ango Show. And if you guys want more videos like this, don't forget to click that follow button. And, we're trying to get to 100,000 subscribers. Your support would be appreciated. I want to kick things off with Scott D'Amore. September to Remember, AEW did a 3-hour special. Mercedes Moné revealed on Instagram that Scott D'Amore was backstage. And it's not the first time that we've heard of Scott D'Amore being backstage. Now, keep in mind, AEW is in Canada, and they were in London, Ontario, which, if you guys weren't aware, Scott D'Amore is from Canada. Scott D'Amore also has Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling in Canada. So this could have just been as simple as him, hanging out backstage, seeing some of the guys that used to work for him, like Ace Austin and Josh Alexander. Maybe there isn't anything to this story at all, but we like a good wrestling conspiracy. And sometimes I just wonder if maybe Tony Khan and Scott D'Amore's relationship is starting to get stronger, and maybe to the point where AEW brings in Scott D'Amore. I think it's pretty valid to question that or to be curious about that. So I'm very curious to see what the future holds. Scott D'Amore doing Maple Leaf Pro Wrestling does have a relationship with AEW as well. But we'll see what happens. At this time, it's really, really hard to say. But of course, I am intrigued. Let's talk about the Tony Khan lawsuit. I don't want to spend too much time talking about this because, as you guys know, there's a lawsuit against AEW, and Brandon Tate and his brother Brent. You guys might remember them as the Boys with Dalton Castle. There's a huge lawsuit that is currently ongoing, and basically there was a deleted. It's a now deleted Facebook post, but Brandon Tate of the Boys called out Tony Khan for pulling the Outrunners from an upcoming match at an indie event, and he's accusing them of sabotage. So in this post, Brandon said that he and Brent have spent nearly 2 years trying to rebuild their lives after leaving AEW Ring of Honor. He accused Tony Khan of damaging Ring of Honor and blocking independent wrestlers while still calling them independent contractors. He also says that AEW's actions not only hurt him and his brother, but also independent promotions, other wrestlers, and fans. Uh, Brandon Tate apologized to fans and to ECC Wrestling for the last minute change and expressed hope that AEW's current direction will eventually catch up with the company. There's so much more to it. You guys can look it up. There was a lot of things in the original lawsuit that included allegations of breach of contract, defamation, Kevin Kelly going after Ian Riccaboni, there's just a lot of stuff here. But basically, the gist of this is that Tony Khan didn't want his talent associated with the Boys on the independent scene. Which I guess, to be honest, I really can't blame him, right? If you're being sued, why would they have the benefit of competing against AEW's talent? Maybe that's the wrong opinion. Maybe that's the wrong take, but I kind of understand Tony Khan if that was the case. I would understand not wanting to have your wrestlers compete against the guys that are suing you. I don't think there's anything illogical about that. That brings us to our next topic, Triple H. Who could be his replacement? I thought this was kind of a funny story. Cody Rhodes talking about this with ESPN, and he pointed out a number of candidates who could step up to the position in case of Triple H leaving his position. You guys could check it out because it's on ESPN. But he says, I think there's starting to become a fight for it. And I didn't see that at first. Obviously, I'm the best candidate, and he's being sarcastic. I don't know if I'm actually the best, but I felt like I had some experience and I'd be interested in something like that. But it's also very clear that CM Punk is really great at helping young talent. He probably has a knack for it more than anybody. Seth Rollins is a little bit more rough around the edges, but probably would be an outstanding boss when it comes down to it. He says, I'd love to throw my name in the hat. I don't know if I'm ready to do it officially yet, but I like the fact that there's 3 of us. Plus, there's a ton of other people. Bailey, Roman will always have a say. You've got an older locker room right now, so eventually those positions, see if you can do good. It's not always the booking. The industry is not easy, and Triple H is doing a great job. So thankfully, we have him for quite some time. So this was a very interesting story to me for a variety of reasons because I don't think people are understanding this. But if Triple H were to leave the WWE, or if Triple H were to be removed from the WWE, who would make the most sense? Who would make the most sense to replace him? And some people feel as if maybe The Rock having Brian Gerwitz could be the guy, which would make sense because he's a former WWE writer. Some people think that maybe Endeavor would bring in Paul Heyman permanently for the role, which I can understand that too. But Cody Rhodes, being part of the foundation of AEW and having that experience, I think Cody isn't actually being sarcastic. I think Cody Rhodes is probably going to set himself up for a executive role within the WWE for after his career ends. And quite frankly, I think he would do an amazing job. So it is just some food for thought, but maybe there is actually more to this story. Maybe it's not as funny as I thought. Maybe Cody is being legit, but obviously being, sarcastic, as you will. And that brings us to our next topic. A new WWE signing has been revealed, but this is where it kind of gets tricky because technically the pen isn't to paper. We got to talk about Joe Hendry. Sports Illustrated, John Elba came out with a groundbreaking reveal. He says that Joe Hendry is in the process of being largely phased out of TNA programming and integrated more into WWE TV. The internal expectation across both people in both companies is that he will be WWE bound on a full-time basis by the beginning of 2026. What is going on here? Okay, this makes no sense to me. Joe Hendry going to WWE, it's kind of always been the rumor, right? WWE did this with Jordynne Grace. They utilized her a lot. Then they brought her in. Now they're doing the same thing with Joe Hendry. My issue that I have with this, very specifically though, is that TNA phasing him out of TV, making way for WWE's transition. What is the benefit of TNA doing that? I need to know what is the benefit of TNA doing that. And ladies and gentlemen, that's where I have a crazy conspiracy, but it's not about WWE buying TNA. It is 100% in fact that they will be on the same TV network, and TNA is getting all of this help to get the TV deal that they want, but they're going to lose some people in the process. Joe Hendry being one of them. I don't know what to make of it. I swear I definitely don't know what to make of it. But I kind of would understand that if that were the case. Either way, this is crazy to think about. I want to know what you guys think in the comment section down below. Let me know. Thanks for watching.